This vintage photograph captures a moment from the past when the Wellington Arms pub was located at 96102 Uxbridge Road in London. In the early 20th century, it was popular among locals and passers-by. Today, the site houses a Kentucky Fried Chicken and an arcade, but this photo reminds us of its appearance over a century ago, when the pub was a community hub. This photo from 1900 shows buildings at 261-265 Brick Lane, London. The architecture features exposed brickwork and tall chimneys. The ground floor houses shops, with one sign, A. Kaplan, above a display window filled with goods. This historic image offers a glimpse into London's cityscape and commerce at the start of the 20th century. This interesting snapshot shows London Bridge circa 1900, filled with horse-drawn carriages and pedestrians. The architecture of the bridge and buildings reflects the styles of the time. This graphic depicts urban life and transportation prior to the introduction of automobiles, demonstrating how technology and infrastructure have transformed. This historic photograph shows a mounted unit of the London Police. The officers, lined up on their horses, demonstrate discipline and readiness for service. The background's classical architecture highlights the city's grandeur and traditions. This image conveys the calm confidence and dedication to duty integral to the London Police. Let's transport ourselves to the bustling streets of London with this captivating historic photograph. A fleet of the famous double-decker buses, adorned with advertisements for brands like Fry's Cocoa and Pears Soap, can be seen traversing the city. This image showcases London's rich heritage and the integral role of public transport in urban life. This vintage snapshot depicts Bank Station on the central line of the London Underground. A vintage rail vehicle is pictured, with passengers boarding or disembarking. The small, curved platform is characteristic of older metro stations. People are dressed in early 20th century garb, which includes headgear. A "Way Out" sign hangs over the crowd. This image highlights a historical moment in public transit. This photograph from the London Zoo shows a majestic elephant gently greeting a visitor, symbolizing the bond between humans and animals. Elegantly dressed people from a bygone era add historical significance. This serene moment in one of the world's oldest zoos offers a glimpse into the past amidst urban hustle and bustle. This early 1900s photograph shows Piccadilly Circus in London, featuring a bustling street with horse-drawn carriages and early cars. The grand buildings have columns and decorative facades typical of the era. Flags wave and a statue stands in the center of the square, capturing the transition from horse-drawn to motorized transport at the turn of the century. This early 1900s photo of Piccadilly Street in London shows sheep grazing on the city's lawns. The use of sheep for maintaining green spaces was cost-effective and blended pastoral life with the urban environment, highlighting nature's role in city life at the time. This 1900 photo shows a zebra-drawn carriage outside the Royal Albert Hall in London. 4 zebras pull the elegant carriage with a driver, while a man in a top hat stands nearby. The image highlights the era's exotic and luxurious transportation methods. This photograph shows 2 early rational motor taxis built by Heatley Gresham Engineering. These pioneering vehicles proudly stand outside the famous Savoy Theatre on Strand Street in London. With their distinctive design and engineering craftsmanship, these taxis represent a bygone era of innovation and elegance in transportation. This vintage photograph shows the first Waite, Rose & Taylor store at 263, offering high-quality products and household goods. The window displays attract passers-by, and 2 people at the entrance add liveliness. The elegant sign and arranged windows reflect the early 20th century focus on quality and service. This photograph, taken around 1905, depicts the Woodman Restaurant at 60 Battersea High Street in London. The 2-story structure with signs reading The Woodman and M.W. Molbros represents the commercial life of the time. Posters near the entryway advertise room rentals, while the damp pavement and mild fog contribute to the historical atmosphere. This circa 1905 photograph shows Westminster Bridge in London. with the statue of Boadicea on the left. The bridge is bustling with double-decker buses and other vehicles typical of the time. The background architecture reflects the historic style, capturing everyday life and transportation on this famous landmark over a century ago. In this captivating historical photograph from 1906, we see an amazing engineering achievement in London. The construction of the Piccadilly line is happening beneath busy tram tracks. Amid the city's bustle, workers are diligently laying the foundations that will become an integral part of London's transport legacy. This 1910 photograph shows Albert Bridge in London. The bridge, with its intricate metalwork and two prominent towers supporting the suspension structure, looks majestic. Horse-drawn carriages on the bridge highlight the transportation atmosphere of the era. This snapshot offers a unique glimpse into London's early 20th century urban infrastructure. This striking photograph takes us to London in 1910, amid the British suffragette campaign for women's voting rights. We see a determined activist on the streets with leaflets and a placard reading, "Votes for Women." Against the backdrop of bustling Edwardian London, this lone figure symbolizes both the courage and solitude in their fight for equality. This shot was taken in 1910 in London, which had a diverse and modern transportation system. Hammersmith Bridge serves as a backdrop for a variety of vehicles, including a cyclist on a penny farthing, a motorcycle with a sidecar, and bus number 33 carrying people. This scenario depicts an era in which transport was continually developing. This emotive snapshot captures London in the early 20th century, when motorized cars were rare and horse-drawn carriages ruled. A classic 1910 London cab with a driver traversing foggy streets is shown. The photograph depicts ordinary life, fashion, and architecture in Edwardian London. This photograph from 1910 depicts a London rubbish cart hauled by a horse, with huge wheels and a covered top. A man stands on a ladder in the back, emptying a trash can. A gathering of people watches from the sidewalk. This photograph provides a historical perspective on garbage management and urban life in early 20th century London. This snapshot from 1910 depicts Piccadilly during a period of transportation development. Horse-drawn carriages and omnibuses share the road with early motor vehicles as pedestrians navigate the congested crossing. This photograph depicts the confluence of old and contemporary technologies, highlighting early 20th century societal and transportation achievements. This circa 1910 photograph shows the Tower of London and Tower Bridge, taken from the monument. The panoramic view captures historic architecture and the iconic Tower Bridge spanning the Thames. Ships moored along the river reflect the bustling port life. This image showcases early 20th century London's urban landscape and infrastructure.